Hello and welcome to MFM Reaper. This video will concentrate on how to arrange multitracks or quickly move multitrack parts using regions or arrange whole songs doing that. I'll be showing the hotkey system that I use to control that. Obviously you don't need to use that, you could just do all this with the mouse. And trying to show you how markers and regions are a really powerful way of editing a song and arranging a song. Actions that aren't custom actions I'll show on the screen immediately in the action list and the hotkeys that I'm using for that. The more complex custom actions, I'll show you how to make them at the end of the video. I'm going to use a loop loft drums multitrack to demonstrate. One useful feature to do with markers in Reaper is the fact that you can bounce markers in a piece of audio. We'll look down here, write BWF file. We can choose to write markers, regions, etc. Not all programs can do this, but if you were sent a track to master that had the markers within, it'd be really useful to be able to export those straight into your arrangement, meaning you can easily navigate a track that you're not familiar with the arrangement of. If we switch the markers to regions and use the home and end key, then the time bell will select each region and loop that so you can concentrate on one section. Each loop loft song is well arranged into sections. Remember to set the BPM of your arrangement before you start bringing the samples in. Make sure they're the same. The individual drum instruments are numbered the same in every folder, so if you sort each folder by name, drag them in, click separate tracks, and because I'm using auto name, I'm getting some icons there and some colour. After I've brought one folder in, I just tag that folder to remind myself that I've done it. Bring the next ones in directly behind. Just click separate tracks each time. And because we're following the numbers, all of the correct instruments are on the correct tracks, following one after the other. I don't know a faster way of doing this, so it's a case of just going through the folders, pulling the audio in, and stacking it one behind the other. It doesn't matter which order you bring these in, because basically what we're looking at in the rest of the video is how to rearrange and edit those simply. So just bring them in whatever order they come in. If you get a rough fader mix of these tracks, we're going to do a stereo bounce so we can just look at one track as we move the edits around and move the arrangement around, instead of having to look at all of the tracks. So set up a rough bounce, bounce that out. Now all we need to do is cut up the stereo mix once we've brought it in at the points where these regions are, which is very easy to do. So I've created a track at the top there. What I'm going to do is highlight all of the tracks with audio on below, mute those, slide them up till they become children of this as a folder, and then just bring in the stereo mix I made onto that folder track. Now we can slice up this stereo master using the items out of any of the tracks. I'm going to use this bass drum. I'm going to highlight all of the items in that track, and then I'm going to create project markers from the selected items, name by item notes. You'll see why we're not just creating plain old markers in a second. So each one of those markers is now named by the item it came from. Now we'll split the stereo track at the markers, and that command is split items at project markers. I'm using Command, Option, Control, and / as the hotkey. Cycle folder collapse state, that's Control and tilde. That'll toggle through the three states. And then tilde on its own is zoom vertical and center track. That's a custom, I'll put that at the end. Z I've assigned to toggle zoom to selected items. Press Z again, and it'll toggle back out. Alt, Command and A, I'll zoom to all of the items in the project, so just pause this to make this command. As part of the hotkey system, Alt and A is all items on selected track, Alt, Command and A, all items on all tracks. Now to convert markers to regions and convert regions to markers, Command R and Command M. Go to or select next marker region is the end key. Go to select previous marker or region is the home key. So it's the same forward and backward keys for markers and regions, the difference being when you select regions, that you'll get the time selection loop of the length of the region as you go forward and backwards. We can grab one of those regions, and that will select all of the items within it and insert that wherever you place it. This is a great way of rearranging drum tracks or your whole song arrangement. Two really powerful visual clues we can give ourselves so we can mess with the arrangement of these multi-tracks would be to group vertically and colour vertically all of the items. And bearing in mind that we took the name of the regions from all of these items on one single track, there's a lot of information we don't need. We don't need to know it's the kick or we need to know it's the intro 1, intro 2. Now you would think if you went to the marker list, you should be able to select them all and edit them together, but it doesn't really work like that. It's too tedious to do this one by one. If you open your action list, search for CSV, Xtreme's made a list of really useful actions. The one at the top there, export markers and regions as tab delimited CSV file. Double click that. Save the file by name to whichever folder relevant to you. Now you can delete the markers and delete all regions as well. Shift Command and M I've used for delete all markers. Shift Command and R for delete all regions. Now go and open this text file. Depending how familiar you are with editing text files, if you hold the Alt key, you're able to draw down vertically. And that way you can delete whole sections of unnecessary information. Just make sure you don't delete the inverted commas. So it's not too slow. You don't need to watch me doing it all though. Once you've done, make sure you've got the inverted commas around everything, save it. Go back into Reaper, open the action list, search CSV. If you're not still there already, import markers and regions from tab delimited file. Find the file, double click it. And as you can see, as you shrink the arrangement so you can get to see a bit more, you're still getting plenty of information out of the regions themselves. I'll put it into all track ripple. Now you can completely rearrange all of these multi-tracks just by moving the region. You can see the region name. I could expand it a bit more and see which verse and which chorus. But you're also getting the visual clue from the colours of the items as well. And once you've set up your hotkeys, it's really fast to do. And now I'll show you how to construct some of the more complicated custom actions that we saw there. Let's start with the custom action that selects all of the items vertically, colours them and groups them. We need to create a couple of custom actions that are within this custom action. I've called this custom action unselect tracks and items all and given it the hotkey U. And move cursor forward one measure, select items on selected track. I've assigned that to the right arrow. Now compile these actions in the right hand lower box, including the two custom actions we've just made, and you'll be able to group your items vertically and they'll select a random colour and it will just jump forward to the next one, jump forward to the next one. Just hold it down. That's Control, Alt, Command and G. The other custom action is the one assigned to the tilde key, which will set vertical zoom center to last selected track and then toggle the track zoom to maximum height. And that is pretty much how I play with multi-track arrangements and song arrangements. Give it a go. If you have any problems, leave a message and I'll see if I can help you. Thanks for watching.